I'd like to introduce Annalisa Kronman. Welcome to the stage. Annalisa is a Christian Science practitioner, and she is also the board chairperson of the Principal Foundation.
Oh, you forgot something?
No.
She is. Nope.
How does this sound? Okay. Well, I'm going to stand up first. Good morning, everybody. Okay, how about even more? Good morning. And wasn't that a great beginning we had last night, hearing from all the committees from coast to coast and beyond, and the music, which has been fabulous. And anyway, David was speaking about how we're going to be doing this in a very deliberate manner, and so what better place to start with than the foundation, which I get to address. So it says in your books, one title of this talk, but that's actually not the real title. The real title is Witnessing Character Transformation and Healing. So, I am Annalisa Kronman, and a member of the Principal Foundation Board, Executive Board, and it's my joy to think together with you the core basis of this work of character transformation. Before we get, and the title is Witnessing Character Transformation and Healing. But before we get into that, let me say a brief word about why the Principal Foundation supports Embraced Fully. As some or even many of you may know, the Principal Foundation is a benevolent organization that's been around for over 50 years, with the mission of promoting inspired benevolence in accordance with the teachings of Christian Science. How many of you here know of the Principal Foundation or know someone that has been helped by it? I'd say close to 100%. And you on Zoom, you could raise your hand too if you want. Good. The Principal Foundation's mission comes directly from Jesus' teaching in Matthew 25, the essence of which is to love each other in very practical ways, including visiting those in prison. So Embraced Fully's redemptive work with former inmates resonates closely with the Principal Foundation's benevolent purpose. And the Principal Foundation has helped many returning community members with resources to help them get reestablished in close cooperation with Embraced Fully. I'd like you now to meet a couple folks, maybe you've already spoken with them and maybe not, who are here today. Bruce Jeffrey, Executive Director of the Principal Foundation, and Michelle Gervais, could you stand up? And if you haven't gotten to say hello or get to know them yet, please do. This is a great opportunity to do that. So, witnessing character transformation and healing. What a sacred privilege it is to do this witnessing. How does character transformation happen? And where does healing fit into that? We've already actually heard a lot of this. So this is not going to be new, but it's going to be a wonderful way of focusing on it. As a 19-year-old, I had a front row seat to an incredible character transformation, and you'll hear more about that later. So here's the essence of transformative change. An observable change on the outside really is the result of revelation on the inside. I'll say that again a little bit differently. Transformation on the outside is really the result of revelation on the inside. So what does that mean? That outward change comes when what is already there is revealed, seen more clearly. We don't need to change the man that God made, and He made the only man there is. We do need to see that man more clearly. And when that clarity begins to happen, that transformation begins to happen, and it keeps going. Seeing God's man more clearly in his or her honesty, joy, health, freedom, goodness, purity, literally transforms life experience. Let's have a little demonstration of this. I need an angel team. 3 folks, 3 volunteers. Come on up, Joy. I need someone else. 2 more angel teams. Come on up. Eleanor. Excellent. So we have Joy and Alexis and Eleanor. Okay. And what do we have here? Oh, it's a window. And it looks like it's had a little bit of history. So we're going to see if we can get it clean. Joy, could you hold this, please? And Alexis, could you come over here, please? I'd like you to put this under it. You're going to be holding it like this. You're going to be turning like this. And Eleanor, we have a little love, a little Christ truth. We're going to see if we can apply this. Eleanor, you get to be spraying and scrubbing. Let's see how we do here. You might need to.
Sometimes you have to apply a lot of it.
Yeah.
Isn't it something about flood tides?
Flood tides of love. Yes, that works. Oh, we're making a little progress here. I want you to come this way. Turn a little bit more. So sometimes it takes more than one application of truth and effort. Sometimes there's specific effort in specific places.
Little stubborn spots.
Here, you want me to scrub and you, or spray and you scrub? Sometimes you might be singing, "Shepherd, wash them clean." But every little bit makes progress. There's not one stroke that doesn't help to reveal the whole. And this is helpful to know too, the dirt doesn't jump back on. It doesn't have that capacity to re-engage. Sometimes there's more that needs to be addressed, but the dirt that is removed doesn't get to go back. Making good progress there.
I'm sure this is good Texas
Here.
blood.
What do you want? Do you want a clean one?
I do.
There you go. Pretty good job there.
It's interesting that it tries to resist at first, but it doesn't win.
So what Eleanor just said, it's interesting that it tries to resist at first, but it doesn't win. Okay, so I think that is
Keep a
great.
few human spots here.
No, that's fine. All right. You know what, we'll just put it, we'll just, you can, let me just, yes, wipe it off.
It's almost like love is the universal solvent or something.
Something like that. So what, before we couldn't see through it, and now, you can see through it nicely. It's a huge amount of progress. And there might be more needed. And, oh, there you go. What was that?
Is it soapy water?
There's a little soap in there.
There's a little soap.
So thank you, Eleanor and Joy and Alexis. So that is what the action of the Christ does in human thought. We might say the Christ truth is both the soap and the scrubber. And did you see? We have love and we have the Christ truth. Those work together in concert. They're never separated. It says here in the textbook of Christian Science, Science and Health with Key to the Scriptures by Mary Baker Eddy, that Christ is the true idea, voicing good. The divine message from God to men speaking to the human consciousness. And she further defines Christ in the glossary as the divine manifestation of God, which comes to the flesh, we might say to the window of consciousness, window of experience, to destroy incarnate error, whatever gunk or grime or yuckiness is there. When that true idea that is voicing good to thought, it eliminates what doesn't belong. It washes it clean. Along that line, the textbook also says something I think we heard a little preview of from the back there. Christian Science brings to the body the sunlight of truth, which invigorates and purifies. The effect of this science is to stir the human mind to a change of base on which it may yield to the harmony of the divine mind. Error or dark thoughts expressed in dark lives is neutralized. Harmony appears. Experience is transformed. Excuse me, we're all working at this. It's part of our ongoing life work. One more thing that's important about this. The change begins with the window, actually. The individual, us, with the desire to, reclaim that original purity, which is forever incorruptible. The saving Christ, through love, washes away all that is foreign, no matter how thick, how hard, how hopeless, how seemingly impenetrable. Mrs. Eddy wrote of this cleansing process. This. Through repentance, spiritual baptism, and regeneration. That's really good soap there. Mortals put off their material beliefs and false individuality. In patient obedience to a patient God, let us labor to dissolve with the universal solvent of love the adamant of error. Self-will, self-justification, and self-love, which wars against spirituality and is the law of sin and death, of garbage, junk, debris. So we see that we're not actually trying to change bad karma, tragic lives. into fixed up or charmed lives by rearranging some outward circumstances. We're really after what a Bible writer calls putting off the old man and putting on the new. In Ephesians, in the New International Version, it says, "You were taught with regard to your former way of life to put off your old self, which is being corrupted by its deceitful desires, and to put on the new self, created to be like God in true righteousness and holiness." Another Bible, the Message, paraphrases that same idea in a very graphic way. We take our lead from Christ, who is the source of everything we do. Since, then, we do not have the excuse of ignorance, everything, and I do mean everything, connected with that old way of life has to go. It's rotten through and through. Get rid of it. And then take on an entirely new way of life. A God-fashioned life, a life renewed from the inside and working itself into your conduct as God accurately reproduces his character in you. Isn't that a wonderful translation? As we get rid of the garbage, the mental and physical gunk weighing us down, and wash those mental windows clean, we begin to see that pristine man who never was corrupted, and our lives naturally start reflecting that. That inward change is resulting in outward harmony is often called transformation. Now I have a question here for audience. I'm seeing that it's time to wrap this up. So I have a couple of examples from the Bible. I'm just going to touch on those and then we'll be almost done. Moses needed to have a little character transformation to go from being raised in fabulous circumstances to killing a man and being in the desert and having maybe a few regrets, doubts, fears, and he also yearned to see God's presence, and he did. And that glimpse of his purpose changed his life from herding sheep to leading a people to freedom. Zacchaeus with Jesus caught a glimpse of his God-given nature, and that healed and transformed him. And there's a wonderful parable that Jesus gave of the prodigal son who went out to have a great time, and turned out that that great time wasn't so great after all. But that moment came when he came to himself, like we heard Davia and Matthew singing. He came to where I can't do this on my own. And the Father ran to him when he was coming. And that's how God sees us. Jesus always called God Father, Abba, which also is like daddy. And so when he was giving that illustration of in that parable, he was saying, this is how God is for us. God's running to meet us. So that is a wonderful thing to realize. So our being here together today is the result of a transformed life, a sin-redeemed life, an individual I met as a teenager, a young man who had been in trouble with the law his whole life, came across Science and Health and began reading it while he was in solitary confinement in a maximum security prison. He eagerly read it, drinking it in day and night, and found he was healed of addiction to cigarettes, heroin, and LSD. Like Paul in the Bible, his life was turned 180 degrees. He was utterly washed clean from the inside out. And out of deep gratitude for his clarified experience, he dedicated his life to serving the cause of Christian Science. He applied for membership in the Mother Church and became the first one to be accepted while still incarcerated. Because even though there were still bars, he knew he was already free. And soon the bars were gone too. After he left prison, he got married, had a family, and served in many capacities, including as a prison chaplain in the very institution in which he had been incarcerated. This healing, this life redeemed, transformed, renewed, washed clean, directed, and blessed, was a primary seed for our being here today, for Embraced Fully. I was married to this man, Bob McVeigh, and Gabriel is his son. Today, today we're going to hear many additional wonderful character transformations. Each one, every single one is significant. And it's an example of that saving Christ ever coming right where we are, right to that dirty window that might need a lot of cleaning. But the window is always there. We didn't wash away the window, we just washed away the gunk. That dirt never was man, it never was us. And when that scene even glimpsed, that dirt begins to dissipate and disappear. And the good that's always there shines forth. And that's known as healing. Have a great day.